A quick intro. My name is Michael Vanka. I'm formerly the Executive Vice President of IT and Special Projects for an AI company. The company was sold last year. Uh, Obviously, we did fairly well in the current market. I've been in artificial intelligence actually since about the 80s, working machine tools, so pretty well versed. I have a lot of close colleagues and friends who are in the forefront. Some of them work at DeepMind, you've probably heard. A2I2, and a close friend of mine is the founder and the person who coined the term artificial general intelligence. So one of the things that people have a big mystery about is there's two types of AI. There's AI and AGI. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is what's the difference between the two. And there's a lot of questions going to happen, and I'm happy to answer them. As you have your questions, you can type them in the Q&A field, and I'll see them, and I can then answer them as we go along. It's a little easier that way. You don't have to wait till the end and forget what you were going to ask or anything like that. So with that, let's go on to AI and AGI. So artificial intelligence actually has been around for a very, very long time. Um, it's been used for, math. It's been used in forecasting, a lot of different things. It's just gotten a little more headlines the last 20 years as technology has improved to be able to utilize AI in more day-to-day activities. One of the main definitions of AI is a machine being able to do what a person can do. So if you take that definition, I mean, there's a huge amount of things that are now called AI, which we all take for granted, that 30 years ago were not considered AI. You've got like the automated Roomba vacuum cleaners that can sense their way around a room. That can be termed a type of an AI. It's very specific AI. You've got phone trees, which we've all been frustrated with, and that's where I worked in with speech recognition and artificial intelligence and recognizing voices and translation. So that is a very specific definition of AI. It's used in banking. You've all been going through your bank and say, would you like to hear this? Would press one for this, two for that. And it's gotten a lot better over the years in that you can now talk in more of a natural language piece. And that's the speech recognition aspect on the screen. And now we've even got automated driving. Some of you probably have the cars where it tells you about a lane change, or it warns you of there's a car next to you through sensors. All this can be considered AI, and it's all around you. I mean, almost everything you do now is a form of AI based on the accepted definition that a machine doing something that people used to be able to do or can still do. So it's everywhere. Artificial general intelligence, however, is not here yet. Everybody's talking about when AI and people will be taken over by computers, and that's still a ways away. While the generative AI piece that we're going to talk about and how to use in real estate is very sophisticated, it's extremely limited. So think of artificial general intelligence as the term of a computer being able to do what a person does and how they think. So as you think, I mean, you can look at empathy, consciousness, creativity, all those things. All those things are not able to be done by a computer, although it looks like they are. But real empathy, real creativity, and all that, that is not part of AI yet. And AGI, how many years away? We don't know, but it's going to be a ways. A lot of people are working towards it. There are a lot of restrictions in it, in that the amount of energy and power it takes to even power today's Chat GPT and all those. It costs millions of dollars a day just to run GPT in their power requirements, just because of the amount of computers they use. Think of your brain. It's a 20-watt supercomputer. Now you look at Chat GPT and it's a million-watt, cloud-based computers all throughout the US that are driving this, and it's not even a hundredth of the level of a human brain. They're looking at what Chat GPT, they're around the intelligence level of a cat. So quite a long term away. So based on that, if there's no other questions, and I don't see any, we'll go on to the generative AI. So that's the AI that's making all the headlines, making all the news. It stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's all based on math. Um, it's a subset of artificial intelligence in that, as I said, I mean, there's like you take your Roomba, that is a type of AI. Then you go to what we're using now is ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, Alexa, all those speech recognition applications. They're all a type of AI. And the ChatGPT piece, which we're going to be focusing on, is using what's called an LLM, large language model, to train responses and create a repository of knowledge that a person can easily access. You used to be able to have to type into a computer or understand math. So with LLMs and generative AI, as I said, it's pre-trained, so they take weeks and months to train these models to allow you to use standard English just to talk or type something in to be able to get some information back. And that information is like just an amazing amount of information that they collect. So the latest GPT-5 is coming out and probably trained on close to 1 trillion pieces of data. So it's an amazing amount of data, but still, it's not even the intelligence level of a cat. So, but in terms of real estate and how you can use it in your own personal life, in business, it has some very, very profound and great uses that I'm going to show you. So the thing to remember about this is it's all about the math. So you can see it down there. It really is all about the math and all about the engineers who coded the math to create the models that you're going to pull data from. So that's something to remember. It's also probability theory. So what's the likelihood that you asked a question that pertains to this? And an example of this is, what is an apple? Well, you can look at it and say it's a huge, trillion-dollar computer corporation, or it's an apple that you eat. So the probability when you talk to, let's say, ChatGPT, if you've done some prior things, it's learned from it that you're talking about computer. So it knows you're talking about Apple, the computer, and not Apple, the fruit. So um, machine learning, everybody has heard about ML, machine learning. Machine learning is how you train these huge language models using math and algorithms to actually line up data to make it easily retrievable. So, all right. So next, so there are a few models. I use ChatGPT. I've used most of them. I have a friend who programs at Google for Gemini, and also one of the senior leaders at Microsoft is someone I know well, doing Copilot. But ChatGPT was really one of the first ones to allow uh, everyday users to log in for free, and I'm going to use the free version today, to be able to retrieve data. And it can retrieve all kinds of data. The thing to remember about what it's retrieving is that unless you have the paid model, it's not using the most recent data. So remember when I said it has to train models, and sometimes that takes weeks, maybe even a month if you have to reiterate and retrain the models if it doesn't come out correct. So if you have data from, let's say, January of this year, and it takes 2 months to train, 3 months, you're just getting it now. And any data, anything is, let's say, excuse me, with interest rates and all that, is not the latest. It's only from January. And it may be supplemented, but the interesting thing to remember about these ChatGPT is they don't learn without someone going in and adding data and training it to incorporate the newest data. So when you're looking and using some of these models, just remember it could be older data, so you have to really check it. So ChatGPT is free. I use a free version. I also have a monthly subscription, but I compare the two. Microsoft Copilot and Edge is part of their internet browsers. When you talk to Alexa, AWS Bedrock, those are all the same types of technologies that are used, but they're all based on large language models and billions and trillions of bits of data that get pre-trained. Remember, it's GPT, pre-trained transformer, on older data. New data gets added to it as it can, but it takes sometimes weeks. So, no questions. Okay. All right. So let's compile into something that is more of how how your team or in your industry can use it to really save yourself a lot of time. A lot of people have writer's block. It's really difficult to look at and analyze local market trends. There's so many things that these, let's say, ChatGPT can do for you, and it can do it in seconds. And rather than, you know, try and write a detailed, attractive property description, you can just say, ChatGPT, do this for me, and it will do it and spit it out for you. You can copy it and paste it and put it in your listing. You can do so many different things with the data that it already has in there. And it works really well because there is so many things that have been incorporated as overall knowledge base that it can take all that and add that in and create a really compelling and very forceful output for your customers to use and for marketing as well. So it's a very useful tool. And the main things it's going to do for you, it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to get creative. And if you have some challenges writing emails or you have some writer's block or mental block, I don't want to do this, just put it in ChatGPT. It'll do it for you, and you can copy and paste it and put it in your own format and let it roll. So with that, the two most popular ones are ChatGPT at chatgpt.com and Gemini at gemini.google.com. They work the same way. Although the data is probably close to the same in both, there are some subtle differences. ChatGPT works well, so that's why I use it, and I know it pretty well too. And I know some of the people there as well. So I'm going to use the free version, so you don't have to pay for what I'm going to show you. And it really does an amazing job at being able to create things for your marketing, for your sales, for your outreach to customers. You'll see, it's pretty cool. So I'm actually going to do some sample queries in ChatGPT for you, so that you can see what it says. I'm actually going to go to another one, this one. So the real key to using ChatGPT is being able to frame the question to get the answers that you want. So if you look at my query for ChatGPT, it says, write a description for my beautiful new listing at Main Street. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, expansive family room. It should be upbeat, fun, and not salesy. Sometimes you want to be salesy, sometimes you don't. In this case, I said not salesy, and I capitalized not salesy to emphasize that. Tells you the home has a kitchen that will make you feel like a gourmet chef, and the description must be less than 2,000 characters. You can limit the characters to whatever you want. So I've cut this. I'm going to go to ChatGPT here, and this is basically, you just go to chatgpt.com and hit enter, and it says ask anything. So I'm going to paste that query from before into this ask anything, and I'm going to say, give me a return. So here it says the query, and then it's going to come out with exactly what I asked for, hopefully exactly. So we'll go through it in a second here. Keeps writing and writing. So it replies and said, sure, here's an upbeat listing for your 1212 Main Street under 2,000 characters. So as I said, it's not salesy. It says, welcome to 1212 East Main Street, where comfort meets character and space is never in short supply. And then it goes through in some of the details. 5-bedroom, 3-bath gem, plenty of room to stretch out, gather and create your own slice of home. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see where it has taken what you've asked and incorporated that into some really nice wording. And again, I said in here, a kitchen that makes you feel like a gourmet chef. So here it says the kitchen, let's just say it's the kind of place that makes you want to cook everything bright, open, and thoughtfully laid out, and has a kind of energy that turns everyday meals into something a little more special. So it goes through and makes it not salesy, gives you a nice description. And you can take this and you can cut it and paste it into a Word document or note or something, and then add words, change things around, make it more your own if you don't think it's more your own. And then if not, if this isn't what you really asked for, then you can say, okay, let me know if you want to tailor it to specific things like add yard size. I didn't specify yard size, but I'm going to say it's large. So it's going to, so you can add that in. So anytime you can as you're doing these things, you can add that in. Out back, a large yard is ready for what you have in mind. Tag weekend barbecues or a hammock. So it can add that in there at any point in time. You can remodify it and change things as you go. So that's just one example. That's more of a writer's block thing. Sometimes it's hard for people to write a description. Um, there's one that I really like, and I'll go right to that. And that is write a 12 email drip campaign for your home. And it will go in, and I'm just going to use the same thing. It says ask anything, and I'm going to go back and write a 12 email drip campaign for your home. So this is pure marketing. A lot of us are not good at marketing. I'm terrible at it. But it's going to tell you everything to do for these 12 emails by email. Remember, you specified 12. Here's the first one. Thinking about selling your home, let's talk. Here's the second one. What's your worth home right now? So these are all marketing based drip campaign. Number 3, I think it helps homes sell faster, and it goes through and gives you, the body of an email, which you can cut and paste into your own email or MailChimp and add a first name, personalize it. You can personalize it to more of your farm or the market where you're looking at doing this at. And it'll go through and do it for 12 emails. So that's probably one of the coolest things because, as I said, I'm terrible at marketing. But to be able to have the guidance from I guess you'd say almost like a mentor, like ChatGPT telling me this is what I should write about and how I should do all of them. So it'll go through and sequentially time these and put these into an order that makes logical sense. Say it says timing the market, best time to sell, what happens after you say list it, and then marketing strategy, what past clients say about the process for referrals, and then ready when you are. So it's really pretty fascinating how it can create a cool marketing campaign, and you can modify those at any time. So it's pretty good. Any questions to this point? I don't see any. So nope. Okay. So let's do one more. So this is an interesting, right? 10 ways a homeowner can get more money for their home when they sell. So I'm going to put that in here. And it's going to tell you, here's 10 smart ways. Boost curb appeal, deep clean everything, declutter and personalize, stage it even a little, which you all know how important that is. Make minor repairs. I had just been through an open house a few weeks ago over here in Irvine, and it was amazing that there were no repairs. I mean, the gate was broken, the screen had holes in it, the windows didn't open, smelled bad, and they were expecting to get $850,000 for like a 2-bedroom place. Amazing. They had no offers, but so I know that's important. Freshen up paint. All these things are really important. Work with a local expert. So you all know people, a great agent knows what buyers in the area. That's you guys. So that's marketing. So that's you can turn this into a blog post, social media content, or a listing prep checklist. It's that easy. Just say I want a listing. Let's say a blog post. I want a blog post for this. So it creates a blog post. So if you have a blog or if you're doing search engine SEO, search engine optimization to help with your marketing, you create a blog post for this. And then it makes it look really clean like you mean it. Make a killer first impression. All these are, it makes it really pretty cool to be able to put that and have people read it. And you saw how quick it goes. You can spend an hour every other day and fill up your marketing campaigns for a week rather than spending hours or a day or two. And it's just so much more efficient. So I think that's it. I like this one. I'll do this one more. So these are just examples. You can send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat and I can give you some more examples, but these are all quite common things for real estate agents. 30-day social media content calendar. So it's gonna give you every day something you can do. You don't have to. You can take this as a suggestion, but it has a 30-day roadmap of what you can do to stay in front of your clients or get new customers to stay in the middle of the real estate agency and really just help people with the marketing and getting new leads. I think the toughest thing in this market is getting new leads. And what I focused on here with this ChatGPT presentation is how to do the marketing piece to get those leads. There are other ways to do it, but you can certainly put this on. Most of you have your own website or Facebook posts that you can add this into. You can add pictures. You can cut and paste this. It's just text, so you can, you know, cut this and copy it and add it into your own words, and then put it into your own uh, documentation, into your own website, Facebook post, wherever that'll be. So that's it. I mean, for this one, sample queries. Those are all sample queries. Feel free to use them. But they're really kind of interesting how well it does it, how fast it does it. And again, you can just see how much time that can really save you with the level of response that it has. The thing to remember that you're putting in queries that have current data, your own current data. So that is something that it makes a very, I guess you'd say, uh, relevant data rather than using ChatGPT for old data like a market analysis or something like that. So the next thing, which is really kind of important, is accuracy, wording, vocabulary that's really all kind of important, especially when you want to be very direct, or you want to have a specific message that you'd like to get across with your clientele. So when you get responses from ChatGPT or any of the GPT models, it tends to be wordy unless you specify. Like I said, in that one, I had make it 2,000 words, or you can even make it less, or make it less salesy. So you can tell ChatGPT how you want it to be worded and in what way. But even though, I mean, obviously you're going to read it, but check to make sure it's not too wordy. It doesn't double up on language. It does that sometimes. Vocabulary is pretty good, but again, you should check that. It's really important. And then the most thing to check is accuracy in the data. It's using data that it has stored and data you give it. And sometimes it doesn't understand that data correctly and it moves it around a little bit. So when you read your responses, make sure that what you have in that data is accurate and is actually what you're meaning to say. That's a very important part. So um, the other thing maybe some of you have heard about is hallucinations. They call it hallucinations because LLMs, large language models, and like ChatGPT, they come up with their own idea of what you said and their own idea of data, which is not relevant and sometimes is pretty funny. So they call it hallucinations, and it occurs frequently. About 70 to 80% of responses from ChatGPT are pretty good. The other 20 have a lot of mistakes. So it's really important. You won't see it so much in the examples I had because you're asking for very specific things. But if you look at like a data analysis or a market analysis where ChatGPT has to milk the data and pull it from its own archives, that's where hallucinations can occur. So that's really important if you're going to ask it for something where it's using its own data or you're asking for data from it, you really have to check to make sure that data is accurate and correct. Don't assume it's correct just because, you know, it sounds authoritative. It's not. It's just someone's idea of math that spits back data based upon the questions you've asked. So again, I'll emphasize that it's really important for you to be able to create a query that is exactly what you want back. I kind of when we did language models, I'd always tell my engineers is do it like a lawyer. Ask a question in the way you'd want to get an answer back. Don't leave it open-ended. So that's the most efficient way to use ChatGPT. And sometimes it's fun to do the open-ended stuff, but in business, you want some very specific response that fits the task you're trying to do. So let's see. Oh, there's one question here. Does ChatGPT create the same 12 emails for all of us? No, it doesn't. If you use ChatGPT, especially if you have a paid subscription, it will learn from your tendencies and create something more specific to you. So if you put something in like this, a lot of it will be the same. However, as the more you use it, and again, as I said, if you had a paid transcription, it remembers you, it learns your tendencies, and it becomes more specific to you as a user the more you use it. So the answer, will it create the same trail of emails? It won't, especially if you have your own subscription to it. Even if you do a free one, you can do a free one for with a login. It will remember you and remember your prior questions, remember your data, and remember the way you ask things, and kind of twist it more towards what you're looking for. So I hope, Colin, that answers it. So okay, so um, let's talk about security. Security is a big deal. That was my specialty. Cybersecurity and how people hack and can get information. So if you're going to use specific information for you, your listings or whatever, security is non-existent. They will take your data and throw it in that big model and add it into the rest. And it'll be pretty obscure. Obviously, if you have like, 500 billion bits of data and you add a little bit about a home you're selling, it's not going to be that relevant. However, all that data will be stored and used in future uses for ChatGPT or an LLM. So don't enter anything confidential or any information you don't want to be stored by the GPT model for use by others. But that can, run in a very really varied scope. I mean, obviously, if you're selling a house, you can put the address in, you can put the sales price, all that's public information. But the things you don't want to do is put in information that is uh, specific to I guess not you, but to what you're doing or something that is not publicly available. As I said, there is no uh, privacy in data for this, so it's going to be available for everybody to see and use eventually. So that's the important thing. Um, that's really about it. I mean, I can go over anything else. The final iteration, I know we've had an hour. I kept a lot for questions and answers because a lot of people have questions about AI and reading at the news. But so generative AI, as I showed you, can be your personal assistant. It can control your calendar. It can help you build a calendar. It can be a creative tool for those of us like me. I'm not that great at writing, but if I get a little example, I can take it further and add my own wording. It can be a very big competitive advantage in that you can get things done really quickly, put them out there for people to read or to see long before other people that don't use it. You saw how fast this worked. That's real time. This is as fast as it's going to go for you. If you want to add something in, you can go to ChatGPT, type in a query, and take it and post it. It's that quick. So, and it saves you a lot of time. I mean, the important thing with real estate is, probably getting in front of people, whether personally or through social media, search engine pieces. Generative AI will shorten that time to market by hundreds, just an amazing amount. I mean, what used to take like for some of us maybe 6 hours can be done in 15 minutes. So the advantage of that is so good. I mean, first to market, as you know, is the most important piece. So you can be first to market every single time if you get to use this really well and you are comfortable with adding in queries and looking at how to use it as a competitive advantage. There's a lot of people logged in today, so if everybody uses it, there will be a lot of you competing against each other, maybe in some ways. But it's a good competitive advantage for everyone to have. And again, as Colin said, I mean, it's going to be different for everyone. As it learns more about you, it'll be more specific to the way you word things or the way you like things, and then it will become more your own. So the last thing is, be creative. Think out of the box. I have classes that I help with on how to create good queries because the better the question that you ask ChatGPT, the more specific and more relevant an answer you will get. So to be able to, as I said, ask a question as a lawyer does to get an expected answer, the answer that you want to see. So that helps a lot, keeping that in mind. I mean, be very specific if you want. You can start off very general. And as you saw, when I added, okay, make this, add yard, or, make this not as salesy. You can add little caveats to that, and it will come back and do more specific things that you want it to do. So, and then try new strategies. I mean, it's open to do anything. There's no boundaries for ChatGPT. If you have you're thinking, okay, here's a better way to market something, try it. Use ChatGPT, and you know, you can ask it, has anyone done anything like this before? And it'll search through its archives and try and find something, or a new product strategy, a new marketing strategy, anything you'd like. I mean, try it out. There's no right or wrong way to use it. It's just it's there as a trigger to make you think, to allow you to be more creative and to take over really some of the mundane tasks, as you saw. I mean, 12 email marketing drip campaign. For me, that's pretty boring. But it spit it out right away and would allow me to go in and modify each of those emails to be more personalized. It can do so much more. Blog posts, which are really important to get you in front of prospective buyers and sellers. When they look for an agent, they're looking for someone who has experience and who has market presence out there. So all of those things are better communication. You can reach out to so many more people. You can do it so fast, and you can do it in such a nice way that it appears, it makes it very professional and very easy to use. So with that, we're done pretty early. I didn't expect it to go an hour, but if you have any questions, let's see, I got another one here. Again, from Colin, if I have a geographic farming area, how could you use ChatGPT to market to that farm, say a neighborhood of about 2,500 homes? I would look at a query that um, emphasizes more on what type of homes are in those 25 homes in that neighborhood, single family, what the price range is, what type of a buyer. You can ask it. So I'm looking to, get a buyer who is between this and this, income, or is looking for something like this. You can be very specific to market to that farm. In the case of some areas that have maybe smaller homes, maybe the people there are looking to upgrade. So you can direct uh, a marketing campaign that emphasizes looking to upgrade, or have your kids moved out? Are you like, uh, trying to downsize? There are so many different ways you can do that. So it would be really a level of knowledge of what your neighborhood has in as far as a mix of homes, and then add in what type of buyers do you think they're going to do. ChatGPT can help with that, but with real estate, I mean, you have the expertise. They just have data, and they can spit out what data is in there. And they may come up with some good suggestions, but you have the expertise of, this is the kind of buyer I'm looking for. This is what I want. The likelihood of someone selling to downsize is great in my farm, or maybe people want to upgrade to come into my 2,500 homes, are looking for a bigger uh, home. So you can emphasize growing families, and then ask ChatGPT to do that. So, okay. So hopefully that answered your question, Colin. All right. I'll hang on for anything else. Okay. All right. There was only two questions, so that's okay. That's good. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure Elsie will share my email, and she can do my phone number as well. I'm happy to come on site to individual offices to help agents with some of this stuff and get more specific based upon like some of Colin's questions, to make it more specific or to help them with queries. And uh, it would be my pleasure to go ahead and do that. I like to share the knowledge. There's a lot of hype out there in the marketing and in advertising and on TV. And if you look at the news, there's so much hype on AI, and how it's going to replace things. It can replace stuff, but it's a long way from replacing us as people. So we're still in control of all this at this point for quite a couple of decades or more. So to be able to utilize this as a tool to help speed up your process, to bring it up to the next level as far as marketing and being in front of prospective buyers and sellers. It's a great tool for that. So with that, I will close out. And thanks for attending. I know Elsie will send recordings of this. Um, and we'll go there. All right. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate everyone logging in. Ah, my contact info. I'll put my contact info in the chat. Mhm. Yep. And then feel free to call me as well. I'm local here in Orange County, so I'd be happy to, come out and talk to an office individually, to a group of agents. So, okay. Thanks, everyone.